Hey everybody, it is Andrew here, and I am in the sunny state of California. I'm doing my California edition reviews. We just got done with Sea Otter. We drove down south to San Diego, and I'm going to be hitting some bike companies as we make our way back up to the Bay Area. So today we have the Eminent Cycles Haste. It is their 27.5 long travel enduro bike. You have 160 millimeters of travel out back and 170 millimeters up front in the fork. I'm really excited to try this bike. I think it's a really visually polarizing bike, and it centers around Eminent's AFS suspension system. We'll get more into that later, but I'm just excited to get it out on the dirt. So let's get headed out there. All right, the Eminent bikes is one I've been wanting to try for a long time. I do tend to be kind of a bike nerd, and the AFS system that they have is really interesting to me. They have a floating shock with also a floating brake mount. So the reasoning behind it is everything is decoupled from each other. So you're supposed to be able to have active suspension pretty much all the time. Now, it's hard to quantify, I think, but that is what they say. Pedaling up a gently contoured pavement. I'm in the open position on the shock. There's a little bit of movement, but I wouldn't say that we are bobbing at all. Nothing energy sapping, at least. All right, now we found some dirt. And even in the open position, I feel that every pedal stroke that I put in is pushing me forward, and I'm not really losing energy. Another thing that I noticed is it's got a lot of these embedded rocks, and here's a good test. Little slip there at the end. That was more my fault, I think. But it feels soft and receptive. So any of the hard edges that might be in the trail, you feel the suspension softening that for you for a pretty compliant ride, while also maintaining a pretty good propulsion when you pedal going forward. All right, so let's talk about the spec of this bike for a little bit. So we have a Boost Fox 36 up front with their Fit 4 cartridge. The shock is being a Float DPX2 from Fox as well. We have Answer Pro Taper bars and their own branded looks like Valiant stem. Drive is done by Shimano XT. Brakes Shimano XT as well. Wheels are DT Swiss M1700 alloy wheel set with Maxxis rubber, being a DHF up front and a DHR2 in the back. All right, I stopped here on this part of the trail because this is for climbing, a decently rocky part. There's definitely a carved out line where things are smoother, but I want to really see how this does. Basically just chasing over every rough rock that I can find and see how well it does. So let's get to it. Wow. That suspension back there really smooths that out. I didn't really get bucked at all. We did take the time to get me sagged in correctly. Yeah, that wasn't bumpy or bucking at all, because I know some suspension platforms can tend to kind of buck you a little bit. if you don't have things set correctly, or just based off the characteristics. My high tower LT being one of them. Here's some more. Little pedal hit there. Another one. But yeah, overall, I handled it very well. This is probably one of the better long travel 27.5 bikes I've tried and climbed with, for the record. All right, already an open on the shock, on the fork. Let's get a good descending gear. That looks good. Okay, here we go. Suspension is supple. I can feel it being very active back there, but it's not overly soft either in terms of just blowing through the travel. Front end feels good, turns in nice. I'm not experiencing that harshness that some Fox forks have been known for. One thing we talked about before I went on this ride is, does his suspension system help create a more level feel when cornering and braking? I'm not railing these corners, but overall, I'd say this particular package is staying pretty level. So it kind of gives you that confidence. Oh, I can't do that. Let's maybe go in. This is a proper rough course. I'd say perhaps a lap number 2 will be good. Just gonna roll this. But overall, the rear end of this feels really good. It's very supportive. But very active and supple off the top. I don't really feel like I dove through the travel really at all. I do feel the suspension is pretty supple and active. And one of the only ones I can say is supple and active under braking. I know a lot of companies claim their bikes to be that, but this is one of the only ones where I feel like it holds true. Whew. All right, I think this is over. To summarize my thoughts, Very impressive rear suspension. It is very supple, and I mean, it's legit supple, I mean, for me, and supportive. I don't feel like I was blown through the travel. There wasn't a lot of jumps or drops or anything. I don't know if this is the right way to go. And turn-in was really good. I felt like I prefer a slightly narrower bar, but stability, turn-in, all superb with this bike. One, I guess, niggle if I had one would be I wish the seat tube was a little shorter so I could put a slightly longer dropper post in there. It looks to me like a 150, but I would have preferred a slightly more saddle clearance when descending. But other than that, in terms of a ride, I don't know if I really had any more complaints than that. So, all in all, awesome bike. All right, everybody, I just finished my test ride on the Eminent Haste, and I must say this is one excellent bike. It is probably the best, if not very close to the best 27.5 bike I've ever ridden. A lot of that I attribute to their rear suspension platform that we went over. It is just a very free suspension platform no matter where you are on the trail. Whether you're climbing, descending, on the brakes cornering, it's just a free suspension platform. Another thing that I like about it is, and I think that I attribute to the rear suspension, is the ride feels very level, so you don't feel like the front end is diving on you a whole lot. I don't know if that has to do with the rear suspension being more free and being able to work and use travel while it's cornering or braking, but I didn't have that kind of that front fork dive that you typically see on a lot of other bikes. That could be fork settings too. Everybody's fork setting is different. I tend to set mine up a little bit on the firmer side, but generally that is what I had the sensation that I felt on this bike, and the sensation I don't feel on other bikes. So overall, I'm very impressed. I think Eminent has a great bike going on for it, and I would encourage you to give one a try. If you want to demo one, they are kind of in the northern San Diego area. Just go to their website and give them a call or shoot them an email. They're very nice guys, and just say that you want to set up a demo. So until next time, thanks for watching.